Would Santa be a good runner? Happy holidays, Run Elite. We're gonna be talking today about if Santa Claus would be a good marathoner. Now, this is a little bit of a ridiculous topic, right? But bear with me here because even though this guy is focused on giving gifts and eating cookies and drinking milk and flying around, he's got a couple of qualities that might help him should he decide to become a marathoner. And so just for fun, let's see what we can learn from Santa. Now, Santa has some of the best endurance that you're ever gonna find. This guy is really focused. I mean, think about it. He's got one day out of the year that he's really trying to perform. Now, doesn't that sound a little bit like an elite racer who's training for the Olympics or a world championship? Or maybe even you. You're trying to peak on that one day to get your Boston qualifier or really make the most of that one race this year. Now, Santa is a master of this for a number of reasons. Let's see. So he plans a year ahead of time. I don't know, maybe he plans multiple years ahead of time, but at least 1 year. And he's working diligently and he's working stoically. He's just kind of up there at the North Pole, grinding away, showing up every day, managing that factory and focusing on contribution and what's going to happen on Christmas Eve. And he focuses and he does it without needing praise. We kind of forget about Santa in May and in September, but we love him on the day when he brings it. And this is kind of analogous to your race, isn't it? It's like you got to train. But oftentimes runners are trying to peak multiple times in a year. And I guess that's okay. But when you really focus on the one thing you really want, you can build up a lot of base training, a lot of foundation in order to be able to execute. So I don't know, maybe Santa is doing dry runs in July. I don't really know, but even if he is, he's doing it without the glory, without getting a medal, without the big prestige. He's doing it for the sake of training and showing up. And that's something that we can learn from Santa, is that if we think long term, maybe about a year out or a little bit less than a year out, and we really focus on what we want, and then we spend the year cultivating, becoming the kind of person we need to be to get it, we can probably do a good job just like Santa. Now, I think the best thing that Santa has going on for him in his training is that he's doing something for others. It's not for him. He doesn't go make all these public appearances all throughout the year, but he focuses on giving to others. And then he flies around the world and he just focuses on giving, just giving with his presence and his energy and giving with his gifts, giving with his time. And it's not about him. He kind of does it in the shadows. He comes at nighttime when everybody's asleep. He's not looking for a congratulations. He's not doing this for significance. He's not doing it to get recognized. He's doing it for contribution to others. So if you can do that in your running too, maybe over the holidays, or maybe just find a way throughout the year to use your running in order to help others. I've got an amazing runner who I've been coaching with for about 4 years. Her name is Karen, and I just love this woman. She really does run for more than just herself. Now, she runs for herself too. She wants the times, but she wears this nice little singlet that she made, a custom singlet, and on the back has Bible verse on it that really inspires her. And when she's running, people behind her, some of them may ignore it, but some of them she gets to connect with, and it inspires them as well. And she gets to connect and make friendship. And a couple years ago, her dear mother had passed, and she was training a lot leading up to that. And then the next race that she did, she ran it in honor of her. She also races with blind athletes and helps guide them. So sometimes she's running for herself, but oftentimes for others. And that really gives her longevity in her career. She's in her mid-60s. She runs about 4 to 6 marathons a year, and she's done the Boston Marathon over the last, more than every year for the last decade. So we can learn something from Santa on this too. It's about giving to others. That will give you longevity. It'll give you motivation, and it'll really keep you in there when something happens to you, when you're feeling bad, when you're feeling hurt or injured. If you're doing it for more than you, to show your kids that what can be done, to support your family, to run for a charity, to help others, to crew a runner in an ultra race. These are all ways that you can contribute to. All right, let's get to a little more practical one right here. Now, Santa, he is carbed up. I don't know what he eats before he leaves, but I sure know at all of these houses, they're like aid stations. He just zooms from one house to the next, and he gets what? He gets cookies and milk. Now, it's a bit of a lie that he's carbed up. He's actually fatted up, because cookies, it depends on the cookie, right? But most cookies, they're high in fat. They've got butter, they've got eggs, they've got oil, and they're high fat. He's got some carbohydrate in there too, but he is fueling himself, and he's fueling himself consistently. I don't really think we should be fueling on cookies and milk. This is not the best idea. You could fuel on, green juice and salads and fruit, or even just pasta or something like that, which may be a little bit better. are a lot bit better. But the point is, Santa is not just like going out there and trying to do an ultra event without taking care of himself. So in the shadows, without anybody watching, right, he graciously eats the cookies. And he does it intermittently. Every house he goes to, or whoever leaves them out, every 3 to 5 houses that he goes to. And he stays on top of his nutrition. And so he's able to execute again and again and again at a high level. And he's going really, really fast. So that's got to be exhausting. And when we go really fast, we burn up carbohydrate. And so he's eating some carbs. It's a little bit of a push right there. But the point is, he's fueling himself in order to stay in the game long term. The next reason why Santa might be a good runner should he choose to run the marathon is that he's very consistent. How many years has Santa missed Christmas? Did he miss it during the stuff that happened in 2020? I don't think so. Did he miss it during world wars? I don't think so. Santa has hit it every year after year after year after year. It's something that we can really count on from him. And it's really the spirit of the holidays that he's embracing here that enables him to be consistent again and again and again. And for those reasons, he's become the greatest of all time. The greatest gift giver worldwide. Santa's given more gifts more consistently worldwide than any other figure. I mean, at least physical gifts, right? How did he do that? He stayed consistent. He doesn't get injured. He doesn't have excuses, but he's just reliable. And if you do that with your running as well, you're probably going to get long-term results as he has. Now, maybe Santa's first Christmas, he didn't quite have it down, but year after year after year after year, he has a routine, does he not? He lashes up the reindeer. He puts Rudolph in front. He has the elves pack the sack. He says, ho, 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 and then he gets in his sleigh and he goes, and he's got a route that he takes. He's got a plan, and he's consistently executing on it so that he's a master of this. He's really world class, is he not? So if you become a master on executing your pacing, your timing, your training, your consistency, your preparation, year after year after year, probably what you're going to see is not that you just run one very good race or one good marathon this year, because how good can you get in just 1 year? I don't know. Maybe pretty good, but certainly not to world-class level if you just started. It takes years, it takes perhaps decades. So that's what Santa's been doing. I suggest that you focus on long-term consistency as well. Now, here's a little bit of a crazy one for you. Santa is an expert at cold exposure. He lives on the North Pole, and I can only imagine that he gets cold when he goes outside. I can only imagine that when he's flying around in the sleigh that's open air, the wind is like taking his body heat away and it's freaking cold and it's nighttime. So how does he deal with that? Well, he's at least once per year, but probably arguably all year because of where he lives, he's getting cold exposure. Now, cold exposure is one of the tools that you can use to improve your training, and in 2 ways. And I talk about it in my book, Run Elite, Train and Think Like the Greatest Runners of All Time, right there. You can pick your copy up on Amazon. But there's 2 ways that you can use cold. Very briefly, you can use cold immersion, getting into like ice cold water, or getting into a cryo tank, or go outside in the North Pole. All these things will give you a cold exposure that, long story short, it essentially increases the mitochondria that you store in your body inside of something that's called brown adipose tissue. Your fat tissue on your skin can actually manufacture more mitochondria in response to exposing yourself to really cold environments for just about 11 minutes accumulated over a week. Now that's pretty cool. So Santa, he has a lot of mitochondria, I'll guarantee you that. But the second one is that you can use cold to cool your palms and cool your face. And this is where you have a special kind of blood vessel that goes from a wide artery, and normally a wide artery goes to an arteriole to a capillary. And then as it goes back towards your heart, it goes to a venule and then a vein. So it goes from big to small, back to big. And those capillaries are what are exposed on your skin. Now, it's great for blood delivery, but it's not great for dumping heat out of your body because they're small. But in your palms and in your face, you have these certain kind of blood vessels that they don't have capillaries. They go from an artery to an arteriole and then straight to a venule, and we skip the capillary. So they're able to actually dump a lot of heat out, and you can cool your body very well, and that increases performance. If you want to know more about that, you can pick up the audiobook or read the book here. And I'm not going to go into it more here. We actually have other videos for you on the Run Elite channel specifically on those if you want to learn. Santa Claus, he's not a lone wolf. He has a team. He's got a whole factory of elves and workers who help him out for the year. If he tried to do this all on his own, do you think he'd be able to? To be as great as he is as an island, could he do it? He's also got Mrs. Claus, who loves him. And when he gets home, you bet that Mrs. Claus is there with a nice big hug and who knows, maybe a hot dinner for him. Hopefully not more milk and cookies, but she's there to take care of him. He has somebody to return home to, driven by love. Throughout the year, he's got the support of his wife. He's got the support of an entire army that's there to help him with his mission. And when you train, if you do it just as an island yourself, it's going to be very difficult. But if you have someone who you love, who's at the finish line for you, waiting for you, it motivates you to do even better and finish that race. When you have a team, maybe a coach, maybe a physical therapist, maybe a running buddy, when you have a team that helps you throughout the year train, you're going to do a lot better in a year and over multiple years. Even the world's greatest runners, they run with teammates. And when you get to the real top, they have an entire sport medicine team, psychology team, coaching team, medical team, equipment team, and they all come together in order to create a breakthrough performance. Like Eliud Kipchoge, when he broke 2 hours in the marathon, he didn't do it on his own. He had a massive team of, I don't know, but like hundreds of people. And they set this event up for him with crowds. This wasn't a race, this was just for Kipchoge. And there were thousands of people and it was televised. So do you think he ran better because of all of that? Or could he done it on his own? Santa doesn't do it on his own. Kipchoge doesn't do it on his own, and neither should you. And finally, I'm gonna tell you about what races I think Santa could probably do best. Now, in the running world, in the 5K and the 10K, you don't really see runners who have a nice big, long beard. Not really. Even in the marathon, you don't often see big beards, but where do you see big beards in running? In ultra running, of course. And I think Santa would be a fantastic ultra runner. So I don't think Santa would do very good in the marathon currently because of his weight. He's a jolly big guy, and that's gonna hold him back if he actually tried to run a marathon. He has a lot of qualities going for him, and I believe that if Santa chose to make his goal to run a marathon, that he could lose that weight, eat healthier, train better, and he would actually do a really amazing job. But he doesn't choose to do that. And so because he didn't choose to train for a marathon, he's not going to run a fast marathon. And maybe this is similar for you. If you want to break 3 hours, until you decide that you're going to do it and do the things that will get you there, you're not going to do it. You might make incremental steps, but until there's a decision, it's not going to unlock new behaviors and new ways of thinking. Santa hasn't decided to do a marathon, and so I don't think he would be very good in the marathon. But he does stand one chance, and that is in the ultra marathon. And I would actually wager that Santa would do really well in the extreme ultra marathons where they're run in, Antarctica or in Alaska, like these crazy endurance runs that are 100 or hundreds or maybe many multiple days long, because Santa knows how to endure. He knows how to endure the cold. He can keep going. He's very consistent. He has a support team. He knows how to take a pit stop and to fuel himself up. He gets it done every time, and he does it with joy. And for those reasons and the big beard, I think that Santa could, if he chose to be, a very good ultramarathoner. Now, I hope that you enjoyed just a fun little breakdown of could Santa run a marathon? Could he run an ultramarathon? Well, it's all a little bit silly, but we were able to extract a couple of principles that he uses that probably you can use as well. I hope you enjoyed it. Very Merry Christmas. Still need a last minute gift for the runner in your life, or maybe that runner is even you? If you need some stocking stuffers, then these are 3 gifts that don't break the bank and they bring a lot of value to you. I've used a lot of massage guns in my life, and this one is by far the best. It's by Bob and Brad. Now, it comes with attachments that you can use that either will make it hot or cold, or you can do it as I use it with just the standard tip on this, but it's like a nice pointed tip that gets right deep into your muscles. It comes in a box that looks like this. It's pretty awesome, and I've got a coupon code for you in the description below. Number 2 is you want to get really good night of sleep, and there's nothing better than the Manta sleep mask. I've got 2 of them. I've got this one here, and I've got the one that has the built-in Bluetooth music, so you can listen to your white noise as you're sleeping as well. Now, this thing is just the best. I've got a whole video that breaks down the massage gun and the Manta sleep mask here, but this thing is completely adjustable. These eye cups, they're so soft and they just go around your eye completely. It blocks out all of the light so you get that nice dark sleep. And then my number 1 pick for a gift, although I'm a little bit biased, is the Run Elite book. You can get it on Amazon, on Kindle, or even Audible. I recorded the audiobook myself and it's doing extraordinarily well. Just check out the reviews on Amazon. If you haven't read it yet, this is a game changer. So there's 3 amazing gift ideas for you for Christmas. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you back here on the next one. Thank you.